Hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, and today I've come to see Sally and Dan at UK Biofit. Morning, guys.
Morning.
To do some lactate testing, because I believe that my recent FTP test was a lie. Drama alert. Hold on, guys. Basically, I think that I test well on a ramp test or step test, whatever you want to call it. I think that I perform well in that test, and then I don't perform as well in training or in racing because I think my zones are set too high. Now, that's really hard to actually prove until you come somewhere to have a test done that will actually prove that. So I've come to see the guys today to do some lactate testing. It's going to be a lactate step test. It is sub-max. I'm going to use the data that I've got from my recent ramp test and the data I'm going to gather today to try and come to a conclusion. Can you please help me, guys? Because I'm pretty sure that I'm just willy waving on Strava with this ramp test result and not actually delivering on the road.
We'll give it a go, yeah.
Good. So yeah, we're going to get stuck in today. We're going to be using the kicker, and I'll be using my pedals as well to use a consistent power source. Going through my lactate, and yeah, Sally's going to take us through it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wicked. All right, let's roll. Okay, so first things first, Sally's just going to get a measurement at rest. So I'm just sat down for a couple of minutes. Just going to get a lactate measurement while I'm just sat here, not doing much. Make sure the curve starts in the right place. Is that the right one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Basically like Christian Blumenfeld at this point. And you won't have seen this on the other video, depending on which order I put this out, but Dan Smith fainted when he did the survey. Okay, baseline lactate done 1.3, which is pretty normal, so I hear. Going to get on the bike now, get through the step test, and then we're going to talk about the numbers afterwards. So I'm going to cut to a super sick montage, which Dan Smith is kindly going to get for me now, and then we'll see you for all the stats. Okay, so I hope you sickos enjoyed watching me sweat, but it's time to crunch the numbers. So we've taken the data from my pedals, which is absolutely consistent with what I did my last test on. So I'm trying to find out then, Sally, if my FTP test was a lie or not, and what the lactate results were. So I can see a graph. Do you want to talk me through what the numbers were?
So basically where the blood lactate started to rise above baseline was 260 watts on your pedals.
Yep. So for reference, I did this roughly a year ago, and LT1 was 255, so roughly the same place. Yeah. 5 watts in a year.
5 watts, yeah.
10 years, that'd be pretty handy, yeah, good.
And then LT2 was at 311.
Okay, again, so very similar to last time. So last time I did this, it was 305 watts. So so I last did a ramp test, and my ramp test told me my functional threshold power was 365 watts. Do you think that is within the ballpark of right or wrong?
I'd say that's probably wrong.
Wrong, right, okay. Where do you think I mean, you haven't done a max test today, but does this give you any indication as to where that would be?
FTP usually sits around LT2.
Yeah.
So that's quite a lot higher.
Yeah. So it could be a bit below or a bit higher.
Yeah.
But not 50 watts higher.
No, that's probably out.
I mean, that makes the video a lot better because it proves it is actually a lie. But that for me makes me think, what's the point in doing these ramp tests and training if it's not actually accurate?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's a chance then. So when I'm doing sessions like, for example, I will say, okay, my threshold's 365. I'll do sweet spot efforts at 330, 335.
Yeah.
That's probably a bit too hard.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of sessions or what sort of stuff can I do to make LT2 a bit higher then?
So LT2, you want to do intervals just above kind of LT2.
Yeah.
So basically makes your body adapt to be able to cope with that sort of intensity and be able to clear the lactate as fast as you create it. Because basically LT1, it starts to accumulate. So basically you use more anaerobic metabolism, and then as a byproduct of that is the lactate. And then if you can clear it almost as fast as you're producing it, then you stay in kind of LT, just above LT1. But when you start to kind of use a higher amount of anaerobic metabolism and you've got more lactate accumulation, that's when you kind of hit LT2, so you can't clear it as fast as you're producing it, and it's kind of increasing rapidly.
Got it. So the reason I've asked about LT2 there is I suppose it depends what your goals are for the year ahead, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't really have too many specific goals. I want to do a bit of everything, but the punchier stuff, the higher power stuff seems to be where I'm particularly weak. So I might get dropped on a hill, I don't know, weight's a factor as well, or I might, in a sprint, I'm not going to be first there, and I know that's not sprint power, but I find that it's when I'm working above thresholds that I'm weaker compared to other people I ride with. Yeah. But then if I'm going to be doing endurance stuff, LT1's more important, I take it?
Yeah, so if you're doing lower intensity, you want your LT1 to be higher, because if you're doing kind of longer rides, so a couple of hours sort of thing, you'll be staying below LT1 because you don't want any kind of, you want to just be working aerobically, because you'll fatigue more rapidly if you go over that threshold. So you want to push that one up as high as you can. But then if you're looking at more shorter events or sprints, then you're looking LT2 kind of area.
So with training LT1, is it the same sort of thing? You train in and around it to make it better? Yeah. So when I go on a club ride, we live in Derbyshire and it's quite hilly, and my friends all like to ride fast up hills. Am I okay doing the odd spike, or should I be reining it in if I'm trying to work on LT1 and sitting around there? What's the
you always want to vary your training, so you don't want to do kind of literally just do endurance. You want to have a variety of training. So it's not going to matter that much if you have kind of a few hill sprints in there. But as long as you're kind of targeting the majority of your training around your aerobic base, so just below LT1. Around LT1.
When I get dropped, I do shout, "Sticking to the plan, lads." So that falls in line. Okay, good. All right, well, that's definitely food for thought. Honestly, that's knocked me back a bit in terms of like, I thought they'd be better than that. But that you can't, it doesn't lie, does it? The lactate in your blood is not made up, so.
Yeah, so in terms of the data, so basically you plot it on a graph, and then to work out where LT1 and LT2 are, basically look at the curve of the graph, so you can kind of draw a line. So the slope here is pretty straight line, so this is between LT1 and LT2, and then you've got obviously that rapid incline afterwards.
Okay. So I've come today to UK Bike Fit with Sally and Dan. I had this done. I'm going to leave here with the information, some advice around training as well. You put a little document together, don't you, to advise people what to do based on their goals. If people want to get booked in, I'll leave a link in the description down below, give myself jobs here. And availability over the next couple of months is looking alright, isn't it? Yeah, so kind of doing at the moment just one Sunday a month, depending on demand. We might change that, but yeah. Good. And we're not having a leaderboard now that Dan's done pretty well, so other Dan. So there you go. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on lactate testing, ramp testing, power testing down below. I'd love to hear some other thoughts. Thanks very much for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. If this video's done 1 million views, I expect you all to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Thank you.